The New York Nonprofit Press, the industry standard for nonprofits, is a must-read for over 20,000 New York City and state executives. Those who know the nonprofit world count on the NYNP to deliver breaking news and get messages across into the nonprofit industry. Ads can be placed in our paper, daily emails, or on our website. For more information, visit nynp.biz or email publisher at nynp.biz. The New York Nonprofit Press, serving people who serve people.
Good morning. This is Ron Gold from Marketing Works. The name of the show is The Nonprofit Voice. If you would like to be a guest on this show, email me at ron@marketingworkspr.com. We have a website, thenonprofitvoice.com. For the 5th year in a row, and the only agency that's been on 5 times because of Tracy Lebdell, who has retired as their president after building it up and doing so well with it for the Long Island region, I now have 2 new people. Ann Bershatsky, president, and Andrea Sobocinski. So is that the right?
Sobocinski.
Sobocinski. I was close. Andrea is the director of communications, and she is with H2M Architects, and I love them. They're one of the biggest on Long Island and one of the best from what I've heard. And Ann is with RXR, and we all know RXR. We love RXR also, and she's a regional architect there. So tell me how Canstruction got started on Long Island.
Well, essentially, it started back in 2007. And Andrea was actually one of the first members and has been involved ever since the first day. But essentially, Tracy, Eric, and a few other people got together, and they had always wanted to do something for Long Island to help out the need for food and to feed the hungry, because there are so many Long Islanders that can't feed themselves.
That's true. Now, it's a national organization.
Yes.
So how do they have regional offices all throughout the country? How does that work out?
Yes, there are many different regional locations. It depends what areas want to open one, but you can find a construction organization in most major U.S. cities, most international cities, and it is a national organization. So you really just have to find your local entity, and we're proud to be Long Island's.
And how has it been going on Long Island since you've been there every year? Tell me how it's expanded and then we'll talk about this year. But first, before this year.
We've had a lot of AEC companies as well as middle schools and colleges participate. And since the beginning, we've really expanded. There's definitely years that we've hit like high numbers, like new records. But we've been fairly successful every year that we've done it. And we're proud to still be here this year doing it.
Do you consider how much money you make or how many cans you collect?
Both. I mean, everything helps the communities.
Yeah. And over the years, I mean, we've donated over 530 cans.
30,000.
30,000. Sorry. Yes.
I was going to say
530.
that didn't sound like a lot.
Yes, 1,000 cans. And also, we've donated over $60,000 to the food banks. Okay,
so you're talking about the big ones, the Inn.
Yep. Long Island Cares.
Long Island Cares and Paul Pachter and Island Harvest and Randy. Yeah, they've been in the news a lot lately, and they've been very helpful to everybody. We all needed them, and they came up. All of them did a great job during this COVID time. So before this year, how was it collected? How did they have to meet at RXR Plaza and set up there? Is that how it worked?
Yeah, essentially what happened was different architectural engineering and construction companies would get together, put a team together, figure out what type of structure they're going to build. They raise money for donations in order to buy physical cans. And then I would work with movers on the island who would donate their time and materials, drop them off to each location. So that each team could pack up all of their cans. Then they all get transported to RXR Plaza. And then for one night, for 12 hours, all of the teams would get together and build their structure.
Who are the teams? How do you make up the teams? Are they different companies?
Yes. I mean, typically the teams are various AEC companies.
What's an AEC?
The architectural, engineering, construction
You're
industry.
using your own lingo, and most people gotta realize it.
I take it for granted.
You just did.
So yes, architectural firms, engineering firms, construction, real estate, design firms. They typically would sponsor their own teams. Sometimes you have smaller companies that might work together to form one team to participate. And then we also have a subdivision of middle schools, high schools, where they can participate on like a more moderate level to their abilities.
Are they themes every year, or is it up to the architects what they want to design?
Everybody thinks there's a theme because a lot of the structures do follow what is new and exciting. Like one year we had, Finding Nemo. The new movie just came out, and the Pokemon movie came out. So then there was a Pikachu, and then there were Minions. So everyone said, "Oh, was this Disney and Pixar? Was that the theme?" And no, there isn't a theme. It's just really whatever you want to do, and you have to come up with a clever name. Because it's Canstruction. So like one can feed the world. Make something a pun using the word can.
So, when you have these awards, do you have them at any kind of a catering hall? How do you give out the awards? Actually,
so we have the day after the build out, because the build out goes from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. So it's a long night. The next day at RXR Plaza, we throw a event just to thank all of the teams and their members for putting in so much time and work and effort to build these giant structures, because these structures are, they take up, you have a 10 by 10 foot by 10 foot tall space, and most of them are 8-9 feet tall. So they are these giant structures, and we have we get catering, and we have an actual award ceremony where we have judges come in, and they will take their time and deliberate in order to pick out all of the different awards, the different categories. So,
with all these architects, they must be creative, right?
Yes,
they
very
have
much
to
so.
be different. Now, let's talk about this year. This year is different than any other year, as we all know. Did you have a hard time this year getting people to participate?
Yeah, I mean, so normally in the past years, since I've been involved, we've been, at anywhere between 12 and 15 teams. And this year it was, we have 5 teams, because we did have 8, and then 3 people dropped out, unfortunately. But it is a challenge, because this year, when we knew the need was even greater, because so many people got let go. So we really felt the stress, and we really wanted to contribute as much as we could this year to the food banks and help our neighbors out. So that we decided, all right, well, instead of postponing it, let's do it virtually. So we definitely, it was great. And
so how is it going to run virtually?
It's a whole, I mean, you can tell from a team member perspective.
It's been a fascinating experience. I know we were fortunate that H2M was still able to participate. It was a very difficult climate for many, many companies on Long Island. It's why we lost a few teams, just because the high schools and the colleges are not together and not really able to put together teams. From a professional side, I know that the people on my team, on one hand, love the opportunity to really showcase their technological expertise and really be able to highlight that. But then we did lose out on the camaraderie and the interaction that we usually get, because we usually get many different people participating over the organization, and it was just harder to bring those people together. So we did hold virtual meetings. We did come up with an amazing design and really highlighted a lot of the talents within the company, but we did lose out on that interpersonal connection and the camaraderie we were able to build.
Did they drop out because of the financial commitment that they have to make?
I would say some people might have possibly had to do that. I mean, I want to say it's less the financial commitment and more that they're concerned at how spread some of their sponsors might have been in donating cans or donating funds to help them out. It's just difficult, I think, for a lot of companies right now.
Probably be easier to get the cans than the money.
Yeah.
Potentially, it's hard sometimes to find the right cans.
So you, in the past, you had a lot of categories, didn't you? Categories?
Like
for the awards?
awards?
Yeah. I mean, so has there been like one company that continues to win, or are they different ones all the time because they're...
It's surprisingly varied every year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you can tell, like, because the designs are so different, but I mean, there is, a few teams that you can tell, like, that they build a structure for a specific award. Mm-hmm. Like, they're going, like, if you're going for best meal, you'll notice, oh, okay, wow, they really have the meat, the vegetable, the dairy, the fruit, like, they have everything. Or structural ingenuity, where you see, like, they're very meticulous about, making everything line up, and you see them there with T-squares and levels, so you can see, okay, they're definitely going for that one. Or, if they're going for juror's favorite, or the people's choice, like if it's, like Finding Nemo, or something that everybody can recognize, that you can say, oh, okay, yeah, you can see that that's what they were going for. But it does change every year.
So when is the finals now? I mean, you usually run for about 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, so...
And tell me about the 2-week period that you go through.
Yeah, so normally we would have a giant exhibit at RXR Plaza, and people would come and put cans as votes for their favorite structure. For the People's Choice Award. This year, we're going to actually have the judging virtual, because all of the teams submitted virtual,
designs and renderings.
And renderings, and some of them did fly-throughs, and then all of the teams made videos kind of introducing them and keeping them involved. So then, I forgot what I was saying.
Yeah, well, how is that going to work that day?
Yes, so then...
what day are we talking about?
Yeah, so November 19th is going to be our virtual live presentation. Mm-hmm. The jurors are actually meeting on the 12th to view all of the structures and go through and make their final decisions on the awards. And then, so the 19th is going to have all of the teams are going to be invited, all the sponsors, the jurors. So we're going to have a live presentation, present as close as we could do to every other year, where, we would normally get together and present the awards. This way, we are kind of together.
And the general public will actually be able to join us this year, unlike prior years, where, it was always a ticketed event. But this year, since we're virtual, we are going to be broadcasting live on our YouTube channel, which you can look up Canstruction Long Island, and also live on our Facebook account that night on Thursday, November 19th.
Yep.
So they're going to be able to ask questions, join in, or you're not going to allow that?
Well, not necessarily join in from a general standpoint, but we will watch everybody's comments and questions on social media, and obviously get back to anybody who has questions.
Good. Because opening it up, we've found that some of the earlier times, we do a lot of virtual events now. Yeah. And when we first started out, in the first few times we did it, a lot went wrong. Now we kind of got it down to a science, and we don't let anybody... They ask questions through the chat.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And if we think it's a good question, we'll ask it,
Yeah.
And then the good part that I saw yesterday was we had done a virtual wine tasting for one of my groups called True Partners. It was last week.
How fun.
What?
I said, how fun.
Yeah.
So we sent the wine to everyone's house before with the chocolate and glasses. And that night, they asked questions and they made comments on the chat. And yesterday, I was sent the whole chat history from the night. And it was amazing. It really made a difference. I could really see it. I said, I guess we did okay.
Yeah.
It's amazing the things that we've had to teach ourselves in this modern age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had one with that did a Facebook Live, and they were it was done through a Zoom. and they were announcing the winner of the $5,000, whatever it was. And at that time, right before it went on, somebody hacked them. And you should have seen some of the things that went on.
Oh my gosh, I've heard stories about that.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah,
they weren't nice. So we don't do anything live.
Yeah.
Except that we have that. We don't give the any of the passwords out or anything until the last possible minute.
Yep.
And then they get on and they get them, and it's not enough time to do anything like that. So, and during the year, do you bring in new people? Are you pitching this? Different companies to come in and participate? I mean, Canstruction has a good history.
Yes. We actually have Jenny Lynn, who is the vice president and also the director of
Team recruitment.
Team recruitment. Thank you. And basically, her and her team do go around and, introduce themselves, and, we try to get our word out and, get our name out there so that people do know, because, it is such it's a great charity. It really is. And I'm happy to be involved in it. And when you tell people about it and you show them a lot of, especially in the architectural and engineering construction world, especially on Long Island, we're close knit. Everybody kind of knows everybody else. And we're also very competitive. So when you hear, oh, wait, like H2M has been in it for 14 years. It's like, oh, why aren't we in it? I want to beat them. So luckily, that's one of the things, especially in past years, we've gotten so many participants.
How about volunteers? You have a hard time bringing in volunteers?
No, we love new volunteers.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was difficult this year because everything was virtual, but we had a couple new people join us this year, and they've been invaluable. Yeah. We're always looking for new people to join the committee and help out. You can contact us on any of our social media sites or on our website, and we love people because
What's your website?
www.canstructionli.org.
And if they want to call, is there a phone number?
I usually give out Anne's number, but I don't know if she wants that over the radio.
I don't think we want to put it on the radio. No, that's not a good idea. Yeah. So you were talking about the judges. Who are some of the judges?
This year we have
Mark Spector
and
Meredith Woolner Stern.
Yep.
And then Paul Anthony.
Paul Anthony?
Yes.
Yeah.
Paul was the one who was the MC at my event last week.
Oh, that's fantastic. He's been our ongoing resident MC.
Yep.
And Meredith, I know, because I ran her husband's campaign once. A long time ago.
Yeah, we're very excited to have them on board this year.
Oh, yeah, they're great. I don't know if he won, though. Did he win? It was very close. I hope he did.
I don't know. We'll have to ask Jenny Lynn.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. Yeah.
Who knows with this election? I don't know.
Yeah.
But you don't get any support from any funding from government?
No.
Any kind
No,
of
we're 100% volunteer. Everything we do through donations. And this year, after the event, virtual event online, we're going to open it up to the People's Choice Award. So what people can do, go to the website. You can view all of the different structures that have been virtually submitted. And then instead of bringing a can like you normally would, you would donate, I think,
whatever you feel is sufficient towards the design. $1, $5. You can go crazy. Give us 100.
Yeah.
When you talked about some of the companies that are part of this, what were some of your biggest years? How many different companies were there?
What was it, 2012 our largest?
I think so.
We had like 15 that year, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And what do you remember as one of the best Canstruction?
Well, you can't ask me because I'm on a team, so I'm very biased. But
I mean, so there's so many. We've had everything from superheroes to cartoon characters to baseball stadiums to a map of the world to your favorite children's book. There's always something for everybody, and it's so exciting to see these things go up, and then to see, especially because it's the event is normally, when it's physical, it's open to the public. So I would get a lot of calls, especially from grandparents and parents who bring their children. and they see these giant structures. And, you know, our hope is to open up kids' eyes and ask them, you know, about architecture and engineering, and to get excited about these types of things, because, you know, we always want to have new people to get involved in these different avenues and to keep it growing.
Have you had volunteers that have actually become part of you, you know, stayed with you year after year and love it so much?
Yeah, I almost feel like we're a family at times. People have been around for so long.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I want to thank Anne and Andrea for being part of this today. You're listening to the Nonprofit Voice, and I'm Ron Gold. Thank you.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.